To Simon Tov Yud, a new Simon, shortish Simon, not a lot of Mishnah Berurah. Says the Mechaba, Mi shenischaven likboya shvisosa b'mokum yodua etzlei. A guy wants to designate his mokum shvisa at a certain landmark, which is known to him. V'hechazik baderech, and then he sort of heads off. We're talking about a guy who's living, let's say over here. And he wants to go to, within 4,000 amas, which is beyond the tchum. So he wants to make a mokum shvisa, let's say 2,000 amas away, and that will enable him to get to that place. So he has in mind, he's setting out to go to that, to be kover mokum shvisa somewhere, in order that he can go 4,000 amas in total from where he is. So again, mishin is chaven likber shvisa also. He has the intention to be kover shvus somewhere. The mokum you'll do it etzlei, in a designated place. V'hechazik baderech, and he sets off. V'holach, and he goes. Kadesh yagia la'isa mokum, that he can go to that place, which is say 2,000 amas away, so that he can be kover shvisa there. V'yikne bo shvisa. Afal pi shelehigia, even though he doesn't arrive there, he doesn't reach there. V'lo omad shom elehechzira chaver lalun etzlei. He actually sets back because his friend says, "Can I stay in your house? Can I come back to your place?" Or he himself just turns around and goes back from going there. Or he's held up in some way. He's able to go to that place where he intended to. And from that mokum shvisa, a further 2,000 amas l'chol rach. Why? Since he intended to get there and he was already en route, it's as if he is there and he can be koneh his mokum shvisa in that place. Okay, let's do the Mishnah Berurah till there. But mokum yodua, hainu. She'isa mokum mesuyam, it's a designated place. In Ilon, or you go there, v'chanal b'siman hakodim, either a tree or a fence or some sort of landmark. V'yigne bo shvisa, mechaba sosum kadas harambam. The mechaba is going like the Rambam. Omnam das harbe poskim. There are many other poskim who say the dafka im yitziyaso hoyso shalom manas la'orev, that the dafka if his exit is loy al manas la'orev, is not in order to make an erev. V'rag v'leches l'mokum acher b'seif arba alofim mikan. He's actually just heading in that direction. V'zen nechshav love b'derech, and therefore that's considered bo b'derech. V'omrin and afshech zira chaver lo nesa, and therefore even though his friend turns him round. Since we know that he was wanting to go there, even though he doesn't say my shvisa is in such and such a place, command domi. It's as if he said it because we know that was his intention. For Koneh and therefore he is koneh shvisa in the place where he normally is koneh shvisa when he's heading in that direction. Because he certainly intended to do that. It's because then tomorrow he can go to that mokum shvisa, and then from there 2,000 amas beyond. But if he goes out specifically to be koneh shvisa at that place, that's not called babaderech, because if he turned around and he sort of changed his mind almost, then it's considered Yoshev B'Beisov v'lo have erev b'ma'amor levad, and merely expressing it is not enough. Afal pi shelehigia sif kotzen gimel v'hu shohay be'ef shelagia b'siman hakodim. He could have got there, but he wasn't able to. Shechozo me'atzmo lalun, he chose to go back by himself. Hainu sif kotzen daled shemitchila lo nischaven lezeh. He never initially intended this. He intended to get there by Shabbos, and to be koneh shvisa by physically being there. And then he changed his mind and he headed home. And tomorrow he wants to head back there. But if he actually changes his mind totally, then then for sure he has been oiker retrospectively what he intended to do it, because he's changed his mind. He says in Mefurish, and if he says it categorically, then for certain he is not koneh shvisa there. He's already en route, and therefore we consider it as if he's baba derech. Okay, now back to the mechaber, bottom line. When is the above true? Ba'oni. That's talking about a poor person. We don't impose on him to make an eruv, to actually put mozen shtei sudas there. Orach, call from a distance, kagoin shahayaba baderech. But if he's neither an oni nor is he far away, do we allow it? There's got to be one of the two. It says in the Mishnah Berurah, Sifkat involved. That means we're talking about a poor person who hasn't got mozen shtei sudas, lo niach eruv. To say, okay, look, you haven't got food, so the only alternative is to actually to actually go there personally. So we don't want to be matriach you the erev Shabbos. You've got to be there ben hashmoshes and physically be in that new mokum shvisa. Al kain mutaleim bevesa shvisosei b'mokum ploni. So therefore, there's a special hetzer we allow him, and we say that he can sit at home and he can orally declare shvisosi b'mokum ploni. And if a person is en route, the richer person who's got mozen shtei sudas, for him, if he's en route, we allow him to say that. That we've already said previously that if he's already set out, he's already en route, if he's already set out, we treat it as if he's mamish on the route. Even with the poor person, we're not makel to allow saying shvisosi b'makom ploni kasher b'beisei when his mom is sitting at home. He's got to be a little bit en route. He's got to have left his home and started walking. Okay, so in other words, what have we said in Sif Aleph? Someone who is nischaven likver shvisosei and he sets out and is on the way, and then for some reason he returns, he's considered as if he's Baba Derech, and therefore he's Koneh Shevisa in that designated landmark, and therefore that is going to be his Mokum Shevisa for that Shabbos, and therefore, even though he sets back, since he was Baba Derech, we could give him that Mokum Shevisa, and therefore the next day he's able to go 2,000 amas in the continued direction, so he gets a total of 4,000 amas from where he actually sleeps that night. And we said that's only true for an oni, because there are two possibilities, like we said the other day, that either he's there personally, where he is on Friday afternoon, when Kabbalah Shabbos is, or he actually sets the mozen shtei sudas and he puts it there. He sets it there. But for an oni, he hasn't got mozen shtei sudas, so we have a special hetzer for him that if he's Baba Derech and he has in mind, that's my landmark, that would be sufficient. Okay, good. Seif base. Zeh she'amaru, that which we said, she'hakoineh shvisa berichuk mokum she'yachzik baderech, lo she'yetziv ha'yelech basoli. That heter doesn't mean he actually goes out and he's sort of heading in the field. El afilu yored min aliyah. Even if he comes down from his loft, he leaves his house, leilech lo'isa mokum, and is heading in that way, for koidim she'yotzim pesach ha'chotzeh chzir chaver, and even before he leaves the front door, he's sort of setting out. And his friend says, "Oh, do you mind if I stay? Can we stay here and we talk or whatever?" Because he had the intention to set off, and he actually came out of his room, and his cases were ready to go, and he was, even if he didn't pass his front door. And anyone who's Koneh Shevisa from a distance, he doesn't have to categorically say that. Since that was his intention, and he minimally sets out, Koneh Shom Shevisa, he is Koneh Shevisa Som. And certainly if he actually sets out and he actually gets there, he doesn't have to say anything, he's just there. Since he's going beliba, that's what he wants to do, then that is enough, and then his Koneh Shevisa in that place. It says in the Mishnah Berurah, Sifkat and Zayin, there are those who argue the dafka is someone who has got two homes in two different tchumim. Even if his friend, encourages him to turn around, that was his intention. Ava belav hachiloi. We say no, that he's changed his mind. He wanted to go there, he changed his mind, he's gone back now. Unless he said it specifically. Okay, good. Okay, Gimel, let's just finish the siman. Anshe ha'ir, shesholchu echad mehem laholich lahem eruvam lemokum yodua. So the town people wanted to make a mokum shvisa. So they wanted to make a mokum shvisa that the whole town, let's say, come to the neighboring town to hear the drasha of a visiting Rav or something like that. So the whole town said, look, let's be Koneh shvisa in this place so we can change our tchum so we can go hear the drasha tomorrow. And they don't all want to go, so they make a shliach. They make one rep. So Anshe ish sholchu echad mehem lahelich lahem eruvam lemokum yodua. That he goes to a designated place, and the guy, the shliach, is en route, and then he turns around, his friend turns him around, and he doesn't bring the eruv there. The people who sent him, for them it doesn't work, because Lamaisi didn't do it. He didn't get to that place to be Koneh shvisa there. He didn't put his eruv in that place. And therefore they can only now go 2,000 amas from where their city is. It didn't work. For who Koneh sham eruv? But for him it did work. Why? Because he set out. So him personally it set out. Sharhu baba derech, he was en route. V'nischaven lishbeis sham v'hechzik baderech, and he intended to go there. And he was machazik baderech, he sort of was en route. Lefichach yesh loy leilech lo'isem makom l'machar. He can go there tomorrow. V'leilech meno apayim amal l'chol ruach, and he can go 2,000 amas beyond that landmark. Says Rashi, says Mishabura, for who Koneh sham eruv, ayin mashik kasav nelel b'siv kotzim base. So in Gimel, what we're saying is that if a town appoints him to go there, and he goes, and they want to be Koneh shvisa in that place, so they can go 2,000 amas beyond it. If Lamaisi didn't get there, then it didn't work for them, and therefore they've got to stick with their original place. They've got 2,000 amas from there. But for him, this het of Baba Derech, since he was en route and he had intention to be there, then he is actually Koneh shvisa there, but them not, because Lamaisi in practice he didn't actually get there, and he didn't leave the Mozen Shtei Sudas there. Okay, we'll leave it at that.